So this is pretty funny. So this story says Gaetz was denied a meeting with Trump. And so according to an anonymous source from CNN, Matt Gaetz attempted to get a meeting with Donald Trump recently. And so what we've been seeing is, there have been clear sort of write-ups and clear things that have been said and shown that Matt Gaetz is essentially, segregated or separated from people, who you would otherwise think would support him, right? Remember that Matt Gaetz is somebody who is a massive Trumpster, huge Trumpster, and so he was totally a thorn in the side of the corporate Republicans. And so it was clear that the corporate Republicans weren't going to side with him. But what's shocking is there doesn't appear to be any of the Trumpers coming behind him, any of the Trump family members, any of the Trump loyal members. That's what's really shocking. So what it says is Representative Matt Gaetz was recently denied a meeting with former President Trump at his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida, CNN reported on Sunday night. The network, citing two people familiar with the matter, reported the embattled Gaetz tried to schedule a visit with Trump after it was first reported he was under federal investigation, but the request was turned down by aides close to the former president. Gaetz and his allies vehemently shot down the report. Gaetz called the story a total lie and said no such meeting was denied nor sought. So Matt Gaetz says this is a total lie. I'm on a pre-planned vacation with my fiance. I was welcomed at Trump Doral days ago. No such meeting was denied or sought. Gabby, unnamed sources lied. When can we expect a retraction? So obviously, I'm going to side with CNN on this one. I do believe the sources because it's one of the most logical things that makes the most sense ever. The guy's under federal investigation. He had previously requested a blanket pardon. He's very desperate for allies. He has no allies defending him. The only people who could possibly defend him at this point are the Trumpers. The Trump family. So why, what's so crazy about this? It definitely makes a lot of sense. And, he was at Doral or whatever. What's actually surprising to me is that Donald Trump denied a meeting with him. And, because Gaetz really stuck his neck out in favor of Trump and really challenged a lot of the corporate Republicans, what seemed to be what Trump wanted. But it's interesting because I'm wondering if it's because what the story is saying is that it was actually Trump's aides who had actually been the ones who had denied the meeting. And what that could potentially imply is that Trump would have been cool with it, except it was his aides that nixed or prevented the thing from coming to fruition, which is pretty interesting because he was very loyal to Trump. One thing I should say, though, and this is why Trump is a walking contradiction, he constantly turns on people who support him. They support him, and then he scams them. He turns against them. So that in that manner, it's not surprising. But given the fact that he's pretty desperate right now, maybe he's just like, damn, bro, these are some pretty hefty allegations. I don't want to, smear my name on this situation. So, I'm good off this. I don't know, but clearly the Trump aides don't like Matt Gaetz either. So Gaetz now finds himself in a situation where the Trump family doesn't really fuck with him, and the corporate Republicans hate his guts. So he now finds himself under federal investigation for serious charges. He also essentially has a co-defendant who's an even bigger fish for the government to fry. And so that guy might end up turning on him in favor of lesser time. So he is literally in the worst possible position right now. And this story is just really funny because he's so desperate to try to get maybe some legal support or advice and all this other stuff, this meeting with Trump to try to help against his charges. But, doesn't appear Trump is down.